I always love talking to Megyn Kelly, but I'm really fired up and borderline pissed off tonight. And I know her shows are pretty much the same because we're going to talk about Kamala. Kamala not even hiding in plain sight, just outright hiding. The great lady joins us now from the US. Megyn, 5 days since the empty pantsuit, rather than Obama in a pantsuit, was out, telling us not very much and hope and joy and all that crap. Yet nowhere to be seen. Nothing. And as you reported yesterday, as NBC's been backing in today, if she does an interview, she'll do it with her governor. If the debate happens, she'll do it with notes. Now, this is not the behaviour of a person who is leading. This is the stuff of somebody who is scared.
Nor is it the behaviour of anyone with any intellectual depth. That's the truth. That's really what's at issue here. She is not a very smart person. She can say enough to get through a short exchange or memorize note cards for a debate, but she does not have any intellectual depth. And that, I think, is what we've been perceiving for the last 4 years when she tries to offer her brand of profundity, where none of us feel moved at all. We're actually scratching our heads, asking ourselves, what did she just say? Why would she say that? And why would she think that that would resonate with any of us? So she understands she needs a crutch. Whether it's going to be her emotional support governor in an interview or her note cards in a debate, she can't perform alone, and she has enough history behind her to know that.
And look, whether this all works or not, who knows? I don't have a time machine. We'll all find out, first week in November. But just instinctively, I think people by the millions don't buy it anymore. They don't buy the spin, and they see what's happening in real time. They see that this person who is being presented in one fashion is really another. But on your show yesterday, I loved when you had the examples of the questions any and every person who gets the opportunity to ask her should ask. They should be basic contrast questions. You believe this, now you believe that. Why? Over and over and over again. If she can make it through that, then fine. But we both know she can't.
It's very simple. And the point I was trying to make on my show was, not only should it be your campaign issued a statement saying that you no longer support a ban on fracking. Is that true? It should be what made you change your mind exactly, specifically. And I was saying, just like they do to Republicans who go from being pro-choice to pro-life, because it's still a Republican Party in which you can't be elected or nominated unless you say you're pro-life. And a lot of journalists who, especially those who are, looking to cause damage to a Republican or who are themselves Republicans, those 2 or 3% of reporters who are, might ask a question of such a man as follows. You used to be pro-choice, now you're pro-life. What caused the change? What was it that flipped that core belief? And typically it'll be, well, I saw, a fetal heartbeat monitor on my wife or on myself when I got pregnant. And that can make some sense. Those questions should be put to her. Your campaign says you're no longer in favor of a fracking ban. What specifically changed your mind? How and when? Your campaign says you no longer favor taking away everyone's private health insurance and putting them on the government plan, the Medicare plan. What specifically changed your mind? Your campaign says that you are no longer pro open border policies and not enforcing our immigration laws. You now want to crack down on the southern border. What specifically was it? And then the follow-up comes. Was it so, okay, you saw what happened with the illegal immigrants coming into the country in record droves. When? Over the last 4 years? Because under President Trump, we had 1/3, 1/10 in some years of what we're seeing under your administration. You say now that you weren't the border czar, that you were somebody who was just responsible for addressing root causes of migration. Why did you fail? Because we're seeing record numbers of illegal immigrants flooding across the southern border. Do you admit you failed at that job because you have not abated the desire of these unlawful migrants to cross into our country unlawfully? It's not that hard. And then press and see if she's got any ability to go even 2 deep, never mind 10.
100%. I know that we've just seen your half of the interview. I would love to see the other half. Fingers crossed, see what happens. Now, I don't know whether I've got sort of the rose-coloured blinders on, but it feels like Trump is playing a better game than he was the last time we talked. His advisor saying Trump on steroids, multiple events a day. Is this the future of the next couple of weeks of the Trump campaign?
Yeah, I think he's getting much more disciplined and much more pinpoint strike targeted. You know, his media strategy lately has been to go on these alternative media platforms like this interviewer Theo Vaughn, who's got a very popular podcast. And then this week, Sean Ryan, former Navy SEAL, very popular podcast. And who listens to Theo and who listens to Sean? Large numbers, in particular, of young men, large numbers. Trump would love to go on Joe Rogan, but Joe Rogan doesn't like Trump and has said he won't do anything to support him. But that's very smart, because this election really is turning into, weirdly and sadly, male versus female. And I mean, I could make the case all day long to my fellow women about why they absolutely should not support Kamala Harris. She's not for women. She is not for women. But okay, put that to the side. He's trying to go to the base he already has, generally inclined to him, and to stimulate their interest and their excitement and their determination to get out and vote in November. That's very smart. You know, it's similar to what we talked about before, where his campaign figured out where all of his merch was selling best. And he went and doubled down in those areas and tried to stimulate turnout in those areas from people who were already kind of thinking, gee, Trump's interesting. He's on the same general plan. He's not really doing what the mainstream media wants him to do, which is reach out to those middle independents who are, you know, Nikki Haley voters who may or may not like. No, right now, he's going to the core pockets of support and saying, get out. Don't let them stop you. We need you. It's fine if it's male versus female, but I need every last male I can find. I actually believe his comments about Kamala Harris's race at the NABJ event was a similar reach out to some in the Black community who have had this kind of feeling about her, unbeknownst to some of us. And you've heard that reflected in many interviews with Black voters, especially young men who are more Trump inclined, Black men who were like, yeah, you know what? She never did play up the Black thing. She was always Indian on these other, you know, whatever their feeling is. So Trump is smart in the way he's targeting different groups. And I think that's how you win elections.
Megyn, lovely to see you.
Good to see you too, Paul.